The Sioux Falls School District class of 2019 is as diverse as we've ever had. For every one of more than 20 advanced placement offerings, online options to catch up on credits or meet student interest, increasingly demanding welding classes, culinary arts, and film appreciation classes, there are students of every kind to fill the rosters. While some students stick to a particular niche, others want a taste of it all. In this episode of Senior Spotlight, we travel to Washington High School, where one senior's interests may appear to be all over the board, but his motivation behind succeeding at them is laser-focused. We'll be the first to admit that in 3 years of creating Senior Spotlights, we've spent a lot of time in science labs, gyms, and music rooms, and not nearly enough time here, in woodshop, where just as many real-world skills are taught every day through hands-on relevancy.
I go to Wood Tech where I work on wood projects, and right now I'm working on a project that is a box that tributes to Led Zeppelin.
Washington High School senior Ezra Red Earth also has the required courses like chemistry and biology.
After lunch period, I have English with Raslov, where we're learning about literature and writing. So it's also one of my favorite classes because I like to read a lot and kind of analyze stories.
But there's also his first period online class and an American film history class that round out the day. It's an eclectic mix of courses that completely fits his personality.
Ezra likes to write, he likes to draw, he likes to paint, he likes computers, he likes learning languages, he likes to learn about cultures. He likes a lot of things. If he could go to college and major in everything, he probably would. His big thing right now is he wants to combine Japanese comics with comics from the United States and do it really well. And he's shown me some of the stuff that he's done, and I just don't have other students that are as passionate about combining all of these different things. And even with computers, he'd like to dabble in that also with the comics and the art. So he's just really a passionate kid who loves to learn, and I've learned a lot from him about art and different things. So as he's gone through his high school career, he continues to challenge himself and take tougher classes while also taking classes just from a vast array of what we offer here. And he's not afraid to take something that he doesn't even know what it is, like he's asked me before, and he'll go ahead and take things. So
each semester we fill out a message to myself. I will tell you what he says about himself first. This is Ezra. It says, write 3 positive words that describe you. His first semester he said, good man, selfless, very smart. His second semester he said, artist, writer, he's a geek, and he's also a critic of himself. And the next year he said, I'm an artist, I'm caring, I'm open-minded. So that is Ezra in his own words.
his interests vary so much that you can't really predict one day to the next. Like when he comes in, like, what are you going to ask me today, Ezra? I'm going to have to do some research because he's really out of the box and really interested in everything. He just loves learning. He loves school.
In my words, Ezra is a very caring student. He is his own man. He walks his own style, his own path, his own speed. And he is a compassionate young man. He is very honorable. He is a giving young man, not only to his family, but to the friends that he has in school here. He is thankful. He is grateful for what he has. He's thankful for Washington High School because he came from a little school, Coleman-Egan, and because of that, he came to this huge school. The first two things that he said were the diversity here struck him as, you know, out of this world, and the size of the school, the number of students in this school. But then he said, right away, even though those two things, you know, he became fearful, he said the very first day of school, the staff and the students at Washington High School accepted him for who he was, and that made him feel at home. And since that time, he has become, from an average student, now he is graduating being an honor student. So that says a lot about himself. It says a lot about the school that we have at Washington High School, the staff, the students that are involved here.
His attitude of gratitude can be rare in high school students, but everyone around him sees it.
He's always like that too. He's always, you know, Mrs. Borcher's this and thank you so much for that. And you try to get him to loosen up a little and he won't. Like, that's just how he is. He's very formal. He's always so super respectful and grateful. He's just a really neat kid.
As he spends his final months of high school learning new things across a wide variety of interests, it may not surprise you that he's also an artist.
I've been working on that since the beginning of this year, like beginning of my senior year, and it's going to be Sitting Bull, a wall mural of Sitting Bull, but the background is going to be the nebula galaxy, the purple galaxy. In my culture, we believe that star people, like people when they pass away, we go up and ascend to the stars. And I feel like with Sitting Bull's philosophy and ideals of star people and how our future children are going to be the generations that will define. And the stars, I just feel like, you know, when we look up there, we look for guidance and we kind of think to ourselves. And I think Sitting Bull is like the perfect like symbol for that.
That he's also working on a graphic novel series.
I'm writing my own series right now. I've been developing this since I was about 14 with a friend of mine who graduated last year. I've been developing this for a long time, and I wanted to be a kind of like Japanese manga, Japanese comics, but mixed in with American comics, right? I want to take some elements from Japanese comics and put it into, you know, American comics, and I just feel like that's really interesting, and I hope I can do that.
That he's the editor for the Warrior Native News, and the list goes on.
The Okeechobee Club that we have, Okeechobee means to help each other. And so we help around the school, we do a campus cleanup, we have done book fairs, we have done book collections. So that's part of it. So looking for community service opportunities that we can participate in. The other part of it is we have a WNN, which is Warrior Native News. And he is a co-editor of that. All of this is, of course, voluntary. He comes every week, and now we'll be publishing a senior edition. So the seniors that are graduating, including Ezra, will be in that. And so we gather that information and put it into a publication form. And along with that, if you show the pictures of the murals that we have behind us, he's also engaged in that. So his artistic ability is coming out, and his leadership ability is coming to the forefront through the Okeechobee Club.
After the initial outlines here, Ezra needs to accommodate for the blue background. So after this gray cover and touch-ups, he can finish the portrait.
Mr. Rexted received a grant to help fund what he does with his students in the club that he runs, and they started the Warrior Native News, and Ezra's the editor. I remember reading one of the first issues they had, and he had written a story, and then on the back he had also written a comic. He'd done the artwork and you know, the rest of it. So he was on both pages and all sides, and he's really working on this book of art, though, where he fuses the Japanese art style with what we do in the United States with comics. And he said that it's been done before, but it hasn't been done exactly the way it should be. So he's kind of a pioneer of that field.
In the fall, he'll continue his education.
He's thinking computer science today, but I will tell you that could change next week because, like I said before, he's got all kinds of different interests and passions, but I could see him somehow blending his interest in Japanese culture with computers and art, and he's got a lot of great teachers here who have been helping him kind of find that niche also, and so I think Southeast Tech will be a great fit for him, and he'll take advantage of all those opportunities and he'll make something out of it.
But not before he spends the summer abroad.
I'm going to Japan in June for 7 weeks. Basically, I go over there, I learn about their language and study their culture. I'm going to be with an exchange family, and I'm going to be in with groups with other foreigners, and we're going to be traveling around Japan and learn a lot about their culture. It's a country and culture that I've always been interested in since I was in middle school, because their culture reminds me so much about my own culture, my Native American culture, where we have the same honoring and respect for our elders and our family. It will immensely help me with my artistic skills and like my writing, like my point of view.
He's still set it up so he's going to be able to go to Japan this summer after graduation and do an exchange program because he really wants to learn some of the language. Like I said before, the art, he's really, really interested in Japanese art and the fusion of what he knows from what he's learned here at school and kind of make that work together. So he's found a way to do a little bit of everything while he's here.
Even in the final quarter of his high school career, he's wanting to do more.
I like to try and do as many things as I could right now. Like I'm trying to, I'm doing for an audition for tomorrow for a musical, or if that doesn't pan out, I'm going to try to join track or tennis because I want to try to at least do something, you know, more than just focusing on my wall mural and kind of my education. I want to try to contribute as much as I could. Life is too short, and you know, and I want to try to do as much as I can, you know, especially me. I'm going to end my teenage years in Japan, and this year, you know, I want to try to end it in a really good, positive way where I just want to step out and I want to try and do exciting things. And hopefully I can do that in my 20s, where I'm going to do that and just explore and just do as many as I could before I have family and stuff, because you only get one life, you know? You can't really just sit around and do nothing. And, you know, I kind of experienced that at one point, and it just makes me feel like I really got to do something. It makes me feel motivated for myself.
As if all of this weren't enough, it should be noted that Ezra started high school as a RISE student in a program formerly known as Cluster. He spent part of his school days in resource classrooms, but he has gradually phased into all traditional classes here. It's uncommon, but that word seems to perfectly describe Ezra.
The thing with Ezra is he's his own man. He doesn't compare himself with anybody else. He knows who he is, so he's strong with who he is, and because of that, he is a dreamer. Some people may say he is, maybe his gait is a little bit slow, but there's no grass growing under his feet at all. Why? He's constantly thinking, he's constantly dreaming. He's creative, he's starting a novel, he's writing a book, and so in that respect, yeah, he's his own man, he walks his own path, and he walks his own pace. He cultivates a lifestyle of thanksgiving. He's very thankful for his family, his mother, his sister. He's very thankful for the staff that we have at Washington High School that have nurtured and guided him to where he's at today, an honor student, as I said before. Ms. Borchers, Ms. Potter, Mr. Ratzlaff, myself, and others along the way that have helped him, guide him along. He's very thankful for that. He's very thankful for the student body at Washington High School for helping him, accepting him for who he is. One day he'll come to school and he will look like a Native American young man. The next day he may come and he may have blonde hair. So you don't know, but that's Ezra. And that's his creativity, that's his personality, and everybody that knows him appreciates it. And we have fun with it. We enjoy him. He's a hoot to be around, so that's just part of who he is. The other thing he values, of course, his friends that I said, and those friends are very close to him. And the friendship he's developing in the Okeechobee Club is near and dear to his heart.
He takes a lot of pride in his work. He's super thankful and respectful to teachers. He's always asking me for extra help and things and opportunities. Anything that comes his way, he's willing to try and really give it his all. He is very proud to be like the first member of his family to graduate from high school. He's got a lot of respect for his mom and his aunt who have worked really hard with their jobs to see that he's had these opportunities. And he wants to represent the Flandreau Santee Sioux tribe really positive. That means a lot to him. And you don't always see that in a young person, but you can tell it really matters to him. He wants to be a role model. He wants to give back to his tribe and you know, kind of have this niche that he does, but yet have that reflect the pride he has in his tribe.
Ezra will be the first to tell you he hasn't succeeded all on his own.
Without my mom or sister, I definitely would not finish out high school because they taught me that I can work for something that I actually enjoy working. On the reservation, you don't really get that much opportunity, like educational-wise. And sometimes you just feel like you don't really have much of a purpose. And my mom and my sister, they brought me that purpose, and without them, I would definitely not be here talking to you right now. So it's not just my sister and my mom, it's also a lot of teachers here and a lot of my friends here, like Rex said, Raslov and Potter. They also like really helped out. Like they gave me a better insight like on arts and my culture, and what Rex said helped me understand more about my own culture. Miss Potter helped me really express myself creatively, and Raslov really gave me a better understanding when with writing and literature.
We have so many races, cultures, ethnic diversity here that it becomes a way of life. You see and you hear the different languages spoken here, the different faces that are here, but they all meld into one, and you are a warrior, and that's what everybody accepts everybody else as, irregardless of color, irregardless of race. So at Washington High School, it's just a nice blend that we have of students and staff, and everybody is accepting of each other. We do care for the students, they know that, and because of that, I think their performance shows that in all areas, academically, spiritually, physically, you name it. And emotionally, I think they're grounded, and they just exhibit a lot of character, a lot of honor, a lot of respect.
What I love about Washington is it's just so much diversity in terms of like ideas and cultures, like people around. Like, keep in mind, I grew up on the reservation. I never really seen so many different types of race, right? I never really seen that. I mainly encountered my family or a bunch of, white folks. So it's really nice to see that because, it's a whole new experience for me because I made new friends. I got a better insight of what the outside world's like. And that's what always really intrigued me about just the world in general, because I always just been interested in what it's like to be out there.
His thanksgiving comes from the heart of who he is.
I've always seen that, especially, me growing up on the reservation. Like I said before, we didn't really have many education opportunities, so once I got here to Sioux Falls, like live here officially and having my education here, it really gave me a whole new perspective on life itself. And, I just feel like, and it makes me think of other people in the world, they don't really have the education where I have, right? And it really makes me feel thankful that I do. And I really think about other people's situations and what kind of conflicts that people are going through. And sometimes I feel really bad at a point where I want to help, but at the same time, I also have to feel grateful where I'm at.
And he hopes his art, stories, and success can inspire future generations.
Sometimes I feel like a lot of young Native kids don't really have someone to look up to. It's because, either of a single parent home or like they don't really have anybody to talk to. I just feel like, so many other folks and people have their icons and people, and I just feel like I want to try to be that for my generation and try to hopefully inspire, because that's what I want to do. I want to, I want to give hope to show that, you can do anything if you just put your mind to it, You really can, it just doesn't matter how crazy the idea is.
He's already inspired the community at Washington.
He's taught us so much because his pace is slower than the normal student, which is the go-go, and our pace that we have, which is go, 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 get this done. Ezra's pace is get it done, but smell the roses on the way. Take time out for people. Stop, talk, enjoy life. And that's what he brings to us each and every day, and that's what we have gained and gathered from the friendships that we've had from him, and that's what we're going to miss.
Ezra is a great warrior because he's just his own person. He definitely has his own style. He is going to do what he believes in, what is right, and more than anything, he loves Washington. He loves being a Native student, a proud member of the Flandreau Santee Sioux tribe. He loves representing his tribe, and he really wants to be a role model for younger kids. And you don't see that all the time, that deep respect he has for tradition, and also just respect he has for all the adults and all the students in our building. And he really is thankful for all the opportunities he has here.
There is only one Ezra Red Earth on this earth. He knows it. He's secure in that. And he's secure in who he is. And that's what we can all learn from. He's not out there showboating. He's not out there being, you know, some big shot, this or that. He's Ezra. He's a respectful, he's an honorable young man that we can all learn from.
Maybe I'll put the color around here, you know, and then kind of explode.